I was in college, I dated a very traditional Christian man who asked me at one point, how do you feel about after you graduated, we just immediately got married and you were a stay-at-home wife and you didn't have to work? I was honestly offended by that question because I was so passionate about this thing that I was getting a degree in that I was just so eager to enter the workforce and do this thing that I loved and get money for it. Fast forward to today, I've graduated, we broke up, I'm now working in the profession of the thing that I got a degree in, and I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done. I don't.
Bro, I had a chat with a friend of mine last night who was complaining about how women don't want to be housewives anymore and they just want to have a career and they want to work and they want to hustle. And it was just insane because I looked at him and I was like, who on earth wants to work? And he was like, every woman, they want to work, they don't want to be at home, like they don't want to be taking care of the kids and whatever. And I was like, name me one woman that wants to work right now. Like there's no woman on earth that just wants to work and hustle and whatever. Like it doesn't exist. However, we don't want to depend on you guys because you guys are unreliable as fuck. And he was like, and I was like, you're confused. Like what's confusing about that? Like how could you be confused about that concept? We don't want to work. We're only working as a means to be independent from you guys because you guys are horrible people. Like that's the only reason. Like if there was a world where I could never work a day in my life and just be home and making pasta, I would do that immediately. Like give it to me, like give me 14 of them right now. Like I will just do that straight away. However, that also comes with the fact that you have you have a man living in your house now, and I don't want that. I would rather work 26 hours a day than to wake up and there's a man there. So I don't know, it's just funny how men complain about that stuff because like that's a problem you created by being insufferable. Like we only work because we don't want to hang out with you guys. Like you fix it.
You think by you talking that a man would want to hang out with you? Y'all don't think that y'all are the same level of insufferable or even more? Y'all are not good people to be around. No matter how much you do to your hair, no matter how much and how often you get your nails done, no matter how many degrees you got, y'all are not good people to be around.
Can someone explain to me how a man can work all day to keep a woman home nice and comfortable and he'll come home to no punani, no home-cooked meal, and a dirty house? I mean, isn't the whole point of staying home to help make the person who's working all day's life easier?
Is it so normalized for women to be bums? I get videos all the time of like a guy talking about, yeah, like, guess I just have to bring home food for her after working a 12-hour shift and she's been home all day not doing anything. Why? Hasn't she been? Does she not have a job? I'm not talking about like stay-at-home moms. I'm talking about like girlfriend, boyfriend in your teens, 20s type of thing. Why doesn't she have a job? Don't say stay-at-home girlfriend. I'm gonna punch you in the throat. That shit is not real. Are you joking? Stay-at-home girlfriend? Just say you're a bum. I think it's fine if a girl wants her man to pay for her food, give her food, you know, these types of things. But don't tell me that you are reliant on him for it. And I'm also not talking about like 15, 16-year-olds. You guys don't have any money. So, not about you. Seriously, why is it so normalized? I really am not understanding here. Like, you should have your own money. As like a late teenager, as an adult, you should have your own money. Oh my.
Women should not go to work. We're not supposed to be in a workplace together because we cause issues. Women cause issues when they are together because we are biologically competing against each other without realizing it. It is built inside of us to compete with each other for men, which is why we should not be in the workplace. You know, men should be doing farming and hunting and like that, and building and putting and fixing around the house and doing work like that. And then the women take care of the kids and clean the house and take care of the house. We make it a home. They make it a house.
I just gave a lecture on the male loneliness epidemic to a classroom of 90 students, so obviously I find it very interesting. Here's some important things that I learned that I think that you should know. I don't like going online because I'm single and I just feel like there's such a growing divide between men and women. And when I go online, I feel like it fuels it even more. Like I'm reading through TikTok comments and I'm reading about all of these horrible things that men have done to their girlfriends. Obviously, men are being fed the counterparts. They're being fed all these horrible stories that women do to men, but I just think it's so interesting. So I wanted to dive a little bit into that, and I listened to a podcast by this behavioral scientist on Hinge. Let me give you the highlights, or at least what I found most interesting. So I like to think that dating is a very, very good example of how kind of toxic norms can play out and create these cycles where everyone is unhappy. Dating is essentially just like a mirror for gender socialization. Like whatever culture tells us men and women should be is reflected in the dating pool. Men should be leaders, direct, assertive. Women should be compassionate and quiet, you know? So a study done by this behavioral scientist on the actual podcast shows that women feel like there are not enough good men out there to date, and men feel like they're being held to unreasonable standards. This tension is definitely twofold. One of it is economic and one of it is an educational shift. First off, women's college enrollment and graduation rates have officially outpaced men's for years, and women have the tendency to want to date upwards, which is called hypergamy. But stats show that men's enrollment in schools and college graduation is decreasing. So women are thinking, if you're no longer going to be the provider and bringing the money, you have to offer something else. What is that something else? Emotional intelligence. But men were not socialized to view themselves as somebody who can be vulnerably open because they feel like they can be judged for that. Another quick aside in terms of education, men are showing up less and less in spaces of education, and obviously we've already talked about how men's graduation rates are dropping, but an interesting phenomenon was seeing that women are more likely to be the valedictorian, women are more likely to be the top 10% in their class, but if you're looking at stats like SATs and anything like that, women and men are performing around the same, which indicates there's something going on in these school environments that is not conducive to the way that boys are behaving and to make sure that they're performing well. But getting back to what we were saying, online spaces essentially just widen the gap. Algorithms are feeding young men messages like, women don't want nice guys, stay focused on the grind. And at the same time, women are being fed these narratives about hyper independence and high standards. So each side is becoming more and more skeptical of the other. The result is essentially what some people call the dating disconnect. Men are feeling rejected or unseen, and women are feeling unfulfilled and unsafe. Essentially, everybody's lonely, and everybody thinks that the other side is the problem. I just found the context of dating so interesting because I feel like there's definitely something going on with young boys, specifically how they're being socialized and then turning to digital environments that are pushing out these extremely toxic ideas on the manosphere. And I think its impacts on dating are one way that it's showing up in such an obvious way. It's so pervasive. If you had any doubts whether or not the male loneliness epidemic is real, let me tell you, it is real and it is a problem you should be concerned about. You don't have to be a male to be impacted by this. You got brothers, you got cousins, you got fathers, you might have a son in the future. This impacts us all.
I mean, you make it seem like if you had a bachelor's degree and the man doesn't have a degree, you'd have blown him out of the water. Like you make it seem like you sitting at 90K and he's sitting at like 20K. That's not even the case. A man with no college degree versus a woman with a college degree or higher, the average salary there is about 61K for the woman versus 47K for the man. So it's not like you're so far off that he can't do anything. He can't contribute to the household. He's bringing a pretty good chunk of change. Between the both of y'all are probably making somewhere around 106, 107. Maybe with the bonus, y'all get up to maybe 120, 130. If it could come to that, hopefully it does. But he's bringing pretty much the same. He's pretty much equal to you. Maybe he's not making the exact thing, but like I said, you're not blowing him out of the water, statistically speaking. Y'all make a little bit more money than somebody. Y'all think that you can talk to people sideways, which is what you've been trying to do this whole entire time. It doesn't make sense.
My generation has really missed the mark on men. And I say that because I had to give my boss a ride somewhere. He's like 60-ish. And he gets in my car and we hadn't even made it out of the parking lot. And he looks at me and he was like, Megan, when was the last time you got your tires balanced and rotated? I was like, I don't know, last time it was at the dealership probably. Like I never asked anyone to do it, like just last time it was in. And he was like, they're really bad, you need to go get them done. I can feel it. And we literally hadn't even gone over 10 miles per hour. And all I'm saying is that no man my age has ever been that useful about any topic in under 60 seconds in my life. Anyway, now my tires are balanced and rotated.
Husband should not know your friend. Attention, married ladies.
So I encounter a lot of videos online to give me an opportunity to give a different perspective from what's being said in the video. And this video right here is a great opportunity for me to give my 2 cents when it comes to marriage and I guess the way people communicate in marriage. Let's check it out.
Husband should not know your friend. Attention, married ladies. Your husband should not know your friend's personal business. Are you following me? Stop repeating shit that your friends told you in confidence to your husband.
Anything, unfortunately, that my friends told me, my wife knew. Now, she's not going to go run and tell her best friend. Just like if her friend told her something, I would know. I wouldn't go tell my friends. Instead, the buck stops with me. I would hear the information, she would share her information with me, and that's where it would stop. But unfortunately, people with this type of mind state, that ain't it. That's not how you operate in a marriage. Now, if you were just talking about friends, if you were just talking about a group of friends, what one friend tells another friend shouldn't be passed on to a third friend. I agree with that. I can agree with that. That sounds plausible. But the second it crosses over into marriage, no.
Exactly. And I understand where she's coming from. Some stuff, even though you have a husband or significant other, you don't necessarily want them to know everything, right? There's some stuff that you kind of want to keep between you and them, right? But as a married person, y'all are too loyal to everybody. And I think this is what the concept is. Y'all are too loyal to everybody else but the person that you need to be loyal to. Y'all will get up on here like you're doing right now and say, ladies, be loyal to your friends. But then when it comes time to be loyal to your husband, y'all will get online and start trashing him and bashing him and saying he's not a good husband. So y'all will air all his business out. But when it comes to your friend, oh, you keep that under lock and key. You never tell anybody else.
Listen up, stop scrolling. This is exactly how you drive him crazy when it comes to that first date, second date, third date. When it's freshly new, or even if you for the bounce back and go on another date, you gotta, switch up the aura again, okay? You gotta get there and act real shy, real innocent. I'm talking about laughing like, you are so funny. But in the back of your mind, you know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You just looking at him like he the mother freaking meal that you want to take home. Can we get it to go? Waitress, can we get it to go? With him. That's it. We got to go. And I'm not saying that, of course, you're going to leave with him on the first date. That's not classy, ladies. Sit down. I'm talking about how you want to present yourself. Do a little bit of cackling like, you so funny. Talking about smile like, you don't got them pearl whites, baby, you better find a dentist today. That's not the point. You hear me? I'm talking about put your hands over the table, grab his food, rub his leg, kick your feet a little bit towards him. Like, just to tease things up a little bit, rise up the pressure a little bit, and then just be like, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, baby.
If you tell me men only receive flowers at their funeral, and then I tell you to drive to Trader Joe's to get your homeboy some peonies, I can almost guarantee you that firstly, you're gonna go, pee on what? Because y'all don't even know the names of flowers, deadass. So why bother, number one? And then you're gonna follow it up with, but that's gay. Same old tired BS. So then what? What am I going to do? Be the father that stepped up and get you some $8.99 tulips? And now you think I want to jump your bones because, God forbid, I feel a little bit bad, okay? I have a bit of empathy because you were able to tug the heartstrings with your male loneliness epidemic propaganda. But now you think I want you. So where does that leave us? Where's that? Do you even get your homeboy flowers at their funerals? I'm genuinely wondering, or do you just show up with a black button-up because you don't even own a suit as a grown man?
I can't tell if women are saying they are the table because they really believe that, or they really just don't know what to bring to the table. But what I was taught a woman is supposed to bring to the table is, number one, respect. Number 2, an open mind. Number 3, the ability to be taught and to be led. Number 3, assistance, support. Number 4, a good attitude. Be happy, be loving, be warm, be vulnerable. Okay? And then you're supposed to bring questions if you have them. Okay? Be authentic, be selfless, be ready to give. Okay? Don't be looking for what you could take. Give as much as you can as a woman. Okay? And then everything that you gather from all of that, teach it to your children. Be prepared to teach those kids. Somebody once said to me, don't have children if you're not prepared to teach them what you've learned. That hit deep for me. Ooh, love that. Okay? And then as a woman, be prepared to be prepared to be the tail. I got your back. Okay? I got your back. Being a woman and what you bring to the table should not be your career and your job and what you got and how you look. Baby, that's just for you. That's part of the reason why I don't really care for feminism. Feminism is a bunch of women saying that we can and we have the right to, and a whole bunch of I's. But I'm very heavy on the, if it's I, it's not family. Ain't no I in family. I'm trying to do for my family, give to my family. Me, I don't matter. My purpose is to serve my family. Feminism does not support that. Feminism is not even about that. It's just a whole bunch of how great I am and because I can. Girl, bye. Don't nobody care about that. What are you giving, sacrificing to your family, to your husband? How are you supporting that? That's what you should bring to the table. Respect, an open mind, being able to be taught and be led, assistance and support, a good attitude, loyalty, good motherhood. Okay? And then you have the qualities about yourself as an individual that makes you unique and special. Okay? Conversation. Okay? Faith. God. Honestly, that should have been above everything. God. Okay? You are learning the word of God, upholding the word of God to the best of your ability, okay? And teaching it to your children. Baby, you filling in the blanks. That's what you should bring to the table as a woman. Filling in the blanks. Okay? And what he can't do, I'm going to back him up and make sure I can. Okay? I know this needs to get done, but he's focused on this, that, and that. I got to be a good teammate. I got your back, baby. I'll do it. You told me what needs to be done. I learned about this. I can help this so this family can grow. What you bring to the table should be those things that are important. We don't care about how much money you make. We don't care what your career title is. We don't care about how fine you look. We don't care about what you pay for your weave. We don't care about your nails. We don't care about that Birkin bag. We don't care how... No. That's just for you so you can gloat and so you can make it seem like you just, we don't care. What you're putting into your family to uphold it, support it, and be the best assistant to the head of the house because you are the tail. You got that man's back. That's what you bring to the table.
Yes, I'm happily married.
Okay, but does he serve you? Is he giving you everything that you need? Because happiness is not the only thing that matters. He could be absolutely perfect and still not be the perfect man for you. I just don't see how y'all are out here being happy and posting and stuff like you friends with your husband. Like, it's giving pick me. Like, you don't have a brain of your...
If you're a woman who does not want to work, the last thing you should do is become a mother. That is the very last thing you should do. But it seems like that's the very first thing y'all be thinking of doing. And to me, it's just motherhood is a job. That is work. It's mostly unpaid, which is even shitty work. Motherhood is work. Even to become a mother, labor is literally in the process. Labor. You go into labor to become a mother. That is work. And it's funny, but not funny. Women always say men don't really see the value in motherhood and the things that women bring. But women don't see the value either. Because you sell yourself so cheap in the beginning by saying motherhood, like you don't want to work. You just want to be, you just want to be at home with the kids. But being a mom, that is so much work. That is hard as work. As somebody who has opted out of it, and I would rather be in that office. It is a job. And the only time when women really see it as work is after, like, you know, a divorce or something, and then the man is like, you know, then it's, oh my God, you need to pay me for the work that I was doing. But in the beginning, it wasn't work. It was like, I feel like y'all think motherhood is this chill little vacation. You just get to, you know, spend time with your babies. But that is not the case. You will be working. And the way things are going right now in society, your work is about to be even harder. But if I were you and you really don't want to work, all things in life require work. Just find work that you enjoy. And if you think motherhood is your calling, I guess do it. But if you know for a fact that it's not, don't do that.
I mean, all I hear with these types of videos is modern women don't want to do nothing. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to do any kind of work. Well, I don't want to work. I don't want to have to do anything. Okay, then. Well, maybe you can stay home and maybe we can have children. I don't want to do that either. Well, what do you want to do? Nothing. I don't want to do anything. I want to lay at the house, relax, watch Netflix all day, go shopping, go to Starbucks, come home and continue doing what I was doing. I don't want to do anything.
Men have the self-control of Jesus. I swear to God. I just saw a video of these girls kicking down her baby daddy house and breaking everything. And he was like, stop, stop. And I've seen multiple videos of this. Women are really entitled to what they feel like. They can break your shit, they can hit you, they can spit on you, and then just call the cops and the police. Like, you're going to jail, sir, because you looked at her. You should have praised her while she was breaking your shit. Pack it up, mister. Your ass is grass. Like, nah, fuck all that. I mean, I do condone domestic violence. I'm not gonna lie. Now, if that bitch is fucking with you and fucking with your shit, knock her the fuck out. I mean, it should be fair as fair. I mean, y'all want these bitches want to. I didn't vote for no fucking equal rights. I never have and I never fucking will. But you bitches want to be niggas so bad, bro. Whoop they fucking ass.
I was just at the gym and this guy kept staring and just looking over and smiling at me and just making eyes at me the entire time. Mind you, this is the same man that I saw when I was walking towards the gym in the morning. And not only did he rush past me, which, you know, I gave him the benefit of the doubt at the time. I was like, okay, maybe he's gonna open the door for me. That's a good sign, right? No, this dude rushes past me, opens the door, walks in, not even holding it open for me, not even looking back to see if the door's gonna hit me in the face. Like, that is so unattractive. Not only if you're trying to hit on a girl, just as a general note, being a man, not opening the door for a woman, like, you know, your mom, your sister, your friend, a stranger that is walking behind you, like, that to me, I just don't understand this new 2025 mentality of men. It's like they take pride in being nonchalant. It's like they take pride in not having to open the door for a woman. Like, you should not take pride in that. That's actually embarrassing, in my view. You're a grown-ass adult, and you still think that's okay. I don't know. It's not like you had a chance, buddy. I'm taken. I'm not interested. But I'm just thinking about other girls you're probably going to hit on or stare at the gym. Like, trust me, that is not a flex. Food for thought.
Social media has made us forget how unattractive cockiness is. Gorgeous girl showed up on my For You page, and the post was something about like how her face card is so unique that she doesn't have a celeb lookalike. I'm not even talking about what the post was about, but it's just this general like obsession about how good we are hot we are, how much of a baddie we are, whatever. It's almost like people have forgotten how unattractive that is. And I feel like women used to know that because we would meet men and we were like, ugh, this guy's so into himself. It's like instantly making him unattractive. But it's almost like we've forgotten because we're doing the same thing now, but we're pretending like it's just confidence. Like such a clear line when somebody is just confident versus when they are like so self-obsessed. When did we forget how like yucky that is and how it can actually make you look more physically unattractive because of how self-obsessed you are? Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, and most men do. They know exactly what you're talking about. Modern women have this ego. They go on this power trip to where they treat people disrespectfully. We go back to the case where the woman was talking about, well, if we make more money, well, now you got to bring something more to the table. I'm bringing exactly what I need to the table because you're not blowing me out the water with your salary. So you, once again, you think that you can talk to me crazy because maybe you have a better car than I do. Maybe you eat lunch 3 times a week at Ruth Chris or whatever and whatnot. You're not better than me because you do that. It just means you want to go spend more money. I might not even like Ruth Chris, actually. I might prefer Texas Roadhouse, actually. I can go to Ruth Chris, but I don't like that. I don't want to go in there. I don't want to get dressed up. I don't want to be sitting in the dark. I have my own ideas of steakhouses. Fantastic food. It's just, to me, maybe that's not my scene. That's just, I'll take my wife there. That's not really her scene either, to be honest with you. We'll go, but that's not really either one of our scenes, to be honest. It's nice to get out and do that, but it is what it is. The point is, just because you like to frequent places that maybe you has a higher price tag does not mean that you're getting the best bang for your buck. It just means that you're looking for status. And it just means that you think because you have a certain degree, you're of a higher status than I am. It just means that because you wear certain clothes and you drive a certain car, that you think that you're better than I am. You think that you're on another level. And, there's levels to this. It's not. You're not any better than I am. Come down off your high horse.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? So I just saw a video of a woman who said that men who don't want to date single mothers must have mommy issues. Baby, if I almost flip my wig. I'm like, you know what? Enough is enough. A lot of these women, these single mothers, have an issue with men who have standards. These women are getting bolder and bolder and more out of pocket by trying to insinuate that a man who has standards, who wants to create his own family with the woman that he chooses to be with, somehow has a problem because now he don't want to choose women who made poor decisions. And now y'all left holding the bag and dealing with the consequences of your poor decisions. And you mad now because most men are saying, we don't want you and your kids. We don't want to take care of you and your goddamn kids. That's for you and the fathers of those damn kids. Y'all are out of pocket. If I didn't even know what out of pocket was, you were out of pocket. There's no way in hell a man should be shamed because he has standards and he don't want to choose women who've already created broken homes with men that were not fathers in the first place. Men who didn't want children, men who were not relationship material. You chose to make babies with men who were not productive fathers and men who didn't want to be in productive, stable relationships and raise their kids. And now you want other men who've always had standards, who never wanted to take on a woman and her kids by other men. Now you're trying to shame them and saying that they have mommy issues. They must hate their moms because they have standards for themselves. So they gotta be shamed and put down because they've always had standards and because you didn't. Because a lot of these women who made these babies with these men who were not relationship material and not trying to be fathers to their kids, you picked them. It shows the lack of responsibility on your part. It shows that you were reckless, that you chose poorly, And you created broken homes with men you knew were not going to be in a serious relationship with you. And now because you made those poor choices, now men have to hate their mothers and because they have standards and they don't want to take on y'all and y'all tribe. Now it's the problem for the men? That's crazy to me. Baby, that is some wild shit, to be honest with you. I think women need to get their shit together. Y'all cannot force responsible men to take on you and your issues because now nobody want to deal with you. You should have thought about that when you were laying, busting it open for, you know, Pookie and Ray Ray, Ronnie, Bobby, and Ricky and Mike. You should have paid attention to who you was opening your legs to and giving a child to. And you should have been focused on the consequences of that, because that's the consequences of your poor choices. Men shouldn't be shamed for not wanting to deal with you and your poor choices. The repercussions of your poor choices. That's you and the person you made those children with responsibility to take care of those kids and take care of them and do what's right by them. That ain't no other man. Don't put them men in that. That's not their fault. That's not their responsibility. If men are choosing to not deal with single mothers, they have every right to not want to deal with you and all your issues. Y'all are batshit crazy, honestly. Y'all really think men are supposed to come in and be open to taking care of you and your 2, 3, 4 kids by 3, 4 baby daddies? Like, that ain't nobody want to do. That's a big responsibility. And it's not their fault that you didn't prioritize a marriage and a healthy, stable relationship before you decided to bring kids into this world. That's not their fault. They don't have to do a goddamn thing. And if you and to say, oh, they must hate their mothers, that still is not going to force them into taking care of you and all your goddamn responsibilities. That ain't no man's fault. And I just think it's ridiculous that women are just pushing this narrative because y'all are out here dating and y'all realizing that these men don't want to take on you and your responsibilities. Baby, that is not their responsibility. I don't care how you try to shame them, how you try to flip it, smack it, rub it down, whatever. That is not their responsibility. When y'all gonna realize that? You created that bed, now you gotta lie in it. And if the fathers of those kids are not stepping up and doing what they're supposed to do, why do you think a totally different man is supposed to come in and just say, oh, well, you know, it's all right. You got 3 baby daddies. It don't matter. I'm going to come in. I'm going to assume the responsibility of all your kids, and I'm going to take care of you and give you the most and give y'all the world. Are you kidding me? This is some shit right here. And I just think these women are batshit crazy to think that men should step up to the plate and take care of you and your kids by 3, 4 different baby daddies. That is not their responsibility. Y'all gonna stop with this. This is 2025, baby. This is not gonna fly. Y'all gotta get y'all shit together. You need to focus on your own kids and the baby daddies. Go find the baby daddies and make them step up to the plate, because that ain't nobody else's responsibility, baby. I don't know what the hell y'all be thinking. I'm just saying, child.
I guess all I hear is you trying to hold some poor, lonely, hurt, down and out modern woman accountable. And I don't know where you got that idea from, but you should check yourself and stop doing that. She didn't do anything wrong. She's perfect. How dare you?
5 hours ago, my boyfriend of 6 months broke up with me. He said he wanted to focus on his career. Okay. So 1 hour after the breakup, I had cried, processed everything. 2 hours after the breakup, I had walked 3 miles, processed it more. Still sad, but we were good. 3 hours after the breakup, I signed my 6-figure contract for my next job. Really excited for that. 4 hours after the breakup, I cleaned my house. And it's now 5 hours after the breakup, and we are getting ready to go on a date because there was no roster because I'm a good girlfriend, but there was a line, so we're moving on.
Why are men not intimidated by lesbian women hitting on their girl?
Well, if it's a swinging contest, we're gonna win. A lot of masked lesbians are insecure. Look what Ellen has done to her last 2 girlfriends. Anne Hesh made her cut her hair and quit her job. Portia de Rossi, same thing. Cut her hair, quit her job, and now made her move to London. And she does that so guys find them less hot.
Ooh, so she can keep them for herself.
Exactly.
The devil's having a field day breaking up marriages and stopping relationships from forming into godly marriages, and y'all are just simply allowing him to do so. He's clever. Y'all know that. So of course he's going to showcase all of these high-earning relationships, or the relationships that look perfect online. So that way the people who don't make six figures, especially the women, will end up forming these unrealistic expectations and rejecting the man that God has for them. Well, God ain't gonna give me a man who doesn't make six figures, because God knows my heart and he knows what I desire and he gives me what my heart desires. That is not the truth. The Bible does say that he'll give you the desires of your heart, but before that, it says take delight in the Lord. Seek what he wants. So at the end, it doesn't matter what you want. You gonna reject who God has for you? Another thing that just blows my mind is that the new standard for love is lifestyle. Here's a little bit of wisdom. Six figures does not equate to six fruit. Just because he makes six figures doesn't mean that he carries the fruit of the Spirit, nor does it mean that his character will allow him to show up to be a godly man for a godly marriage. You keep on focusing on the network, you're gonna end up rejecting who God actually has for you. Some of y'all really be thinking that y'all can just control the outcome of everything, that y'all speak in a way in regards to the future as if you will have control of what happens 10 or 15 years. You can do everything that you can right now and God can change it. I have heard time and time again women say, I'm in my Ruth era. No, you're not, because Ruth didn't marry Boaz for money. She didn't marry him because he was rich. The question you need to ask is, do they produce what matters in a godly marriage? Rest the conversation. My God.
It's so funny because bitches hoe aesthetic beat they ass. Like they hoe entire fucking ass. You go on the page. I know, matter of fact, fuck that. I know a girl to this day. Shorty, it was fall time. She put on a sweater. Turned her whole backside to the camera talking about, I love this sweater. What a fucking slut.
Are you a guy who is afraid to approach women in public and shoot your shot because you don't want to come off as a creep? I am here with a PSA on behalf of all of us women, nice women in public who are trying to find, a good match somewhere, and Hinge is not cutting it. So, number one, it's okay to be worried about coming off as a creep, because I'm sure if you're a guy that's very respectful and has a lot of female friends, you've heard stories from them about being approached by creeps. And so when you hear those stories, I think, and this is just me guessing, but I would guess that it's kind of making you more and more resistant to approaching a woman in public, because you're like, God, that sounds horrible. And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to make someone uncomfortable like that. Well, let me tell you how to approach without making someone uncomfortable. So number one, open with a fun question. Opening with just a hi, hello, it tends to get people to put their guard up, because they're kind of like, what's coming next? What do you want? Are you about to say something really creepy to me? So if you open with a fun question, it automatically sets up the conversation as being a friendly one. And so if she engages, you could tell that she's interested in talking to you. One, if she engages, it doesn't necessarily mean that she's interested in you. But what it does mean is that she's down for a fun convo, and then suss out the vibes, once the ice is broken and you've been chatting a little bit more. And I can make another video about how to suss out those vibes. But today we're talking about how to open it up. And so one, start with a fun question. So one of my favorite ways to open it up, and I've done this on guys myself, and not gonna lie, it's worked like 100% of the time. One, just say, my friend and I were having a debate about XYZ, and I need someone on my side to tell him that he's wrong. Or say, I need another person to weigh in. This is fun, this is playful, it's competitive, and it invites good conversation. So you are going to want to choose silly, fun topics for these debates. And some examples, and feel free to steal these directly, are, is a hot dog really a sandwich? Or aren't pancakes and waffles technically the same food because they're made out of the same batter? Those are just generic ones, but make it anything you want. And you can tell that she wants to talk to you if she replies in a way that shows she's engaged. So one of those signs is eye contact. The second sign would be passionate opinion in either direction. If she just says, I don't know, and turns away, she's not interested. And that's a shot missed. But guess what? Shoot or shoot. And you don't make any of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. So get out there and start shooting, boys. We want you to, okay? We really want you to.
One of these things that a lot of coaches preach in the NBA is shot selection. It's pretty much the same thing in any sport. Shot selection. Hey, why'd you throw that ball over there? Who, the moderators, the commentators, be like, who was over there? Why did he even throw the ball over there? The guy was completely closed. He was covered. Why would you throw the ball over there? If you take a shot, bro, why are you taking a shot from half court when there's 15 seconds left on the shot clock? Like, you didn't have to do that. It's a weird shot. Why are you doing that? Shot selection. Shot selection. For these modern women, for some, it's got to be the perfect shot. I appreciate, once again, all that modern women some of these ladies are doing to try to help men approach. But the bottom line is, some of these ladies, these modern women, do not want to be approached. Some of this stuff is great. It's fantastic, but they don't want a man around. Period.
Are you single or taken? I'm taken. Taking a break from these lying ass mother.
Okay, listen, I was at the gym and I was doing step-ups and this man comes up to me, a trainer from the gym, and he says, "Hi, my name's Kevin." And I said, usually at this point I would cut them off and be like, "I'm married," with a male interaction. Can't be too safe out here. But he brought his hand out, so I wasn't worried about any suspicious activity. Seems very professional. And so I say, "Hi, my name's Rena. Nice to meet you." He's like, "Can I ask you a question? I don't mean to interrupt." And I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he said, "I'm training this woman who's new to the gym." And I asked her what her end goal is here. And she says, she points at me and says, "I want to look like that." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And so he says, "I was just wondering if you could tell me some exercises you feel were the most effective." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's kind of a complex question. Did she say any like muscle group specifically?" And he said, "Just like your lower body." And I was like, "Okay. Thank you."
I'd rather work with men than women. Now hear me out. I know y'all like, "Oh no, I'm out of here." Listen to my theory. Have you ever had a female manager that was nice to you? I'll wait. No. Exactly. I have never had a female manager that was nice to me. I never had a work environment full of women and it was no drama. I love working with men. They make the workplace drama free. Let's just say that. They make the workplace drama free. They have a very great sense of humor at work. And men don't bring their home drama to work. Women, we bring our drama from home to work. We do. I did. Everybody, every woman will. Any type of stress they got going on in their personal life, anybody pisses off at work, they could get it. That's not how men really operate. Anytime I work with a lot of women, it was always fucking drama. Let me give you an example. So before I owned my salons, I worked at a barbershop. The best thing I could ever do for myself. I worked at the barbershop. The men in the barbershop was so chill. They were so chill. Every time they got money, they was buying us liquor at the barbershop. We was drinking. They was asking me if I want something to eat when they go get some lunch. It was so chill. Like, we was vibing to music. The only time there was drama is when they baby mamas would come and try to argue with them and fight with them because they was cheating on their baby mamas. Like, and we would be looking like, oh my gosh. Like, what the hell? It was so chill. Now, when I left the barbershop, when I decided to open up my salon, I was surrounded by so much women at my salon. It was drama every single day. It was the customers cursing out the hairstylists and the hairstylists cursing out each other, and somebody didn't like this, and oh, why you did this? Why you keep using my brush? Why you keep using my hairspray? Oh, you're annoying. Oh, your man want me. It was so much drama. They would come in the salon with their eye blacked out because their baby father would beat them up, and then they would literally take out their anger out on supplies. They would be pumping mad soap in their hand on purpose. They would be arguing with clients. Women are full of fucking drama. I never wanted to work with women ever again. Like, as soon as my salons closed, I was like, nope. I'd rather work with men.
Running a salon or working in an environment full of women, whether you work at Macy's full of women, whether you work in Victoria's Secret full of women, whether you work at an office space full of women, women bring a lot of fucking drama. And I always told myself, if I was to ever go back to the workplace, I would only work with men. And it's not because I'm male-centered. It's because I know that having a lot of men at a workplace gives me balance, okay? It allows me to not have to curse nobody out. Like, it's very rare you're cursing a man out unless he's sassy. Like, so that sassy is half of a woman, to be quite honest. But I will never work in an environment full of women ever again. Let me know how y'all feel about this, because a lot of y'all work in environments full of women and it's probably drama. You probably get headaches going home. You probably be annoyed. If you are the type to feel as if working with women is annoying, just work with men.
Let me tell y'all something. Working with women is very challenging. It is. It's always this secret competition. It's always this secret animosity. It's like women don't know how to be happy for one another. You can't trust them. I don't know. If the building was on fire, I wouldn't run in there to save nobody. And that's just how I feel. And that's sad, because you're supposed to trust the people that you work with, but I don't. I'm sorry. I don't.
Can we picture male identity development outside of any reference to women? Just for a second, because let's just take the women, the idea of women, the existence of women, we'll put that aside for a second. They're going to come back later. They're not ceasing to exist. I'm just setting them aside for a minute. And I'm asking the question of, what can male identity development look like without any reference to women? What would that look like? What would it do for you, maybe emotionally, psychologically? Like, what comes up if you're just like, who am I without wanting acceptance from women? Just my identity as a man and living my life as if women didn't exist. Women still exist. They're not going anywhere, I promise. It's just a thought experiment. And my thinking is this. Let's bring women back into the conversation. As a group, this gender has so many different expressions and ways of being, because we're talking about people here. So there's all different types of women with varying political beliefs, religious beliefs. Then you bring in intersectionality, such as their race, nationality, language, culture. There are other aspects that make up a person, right? So women is a large group, right? And there's all different types. And when you take that away for a second and just focus on your male identity, or even identity development in a global sense, who you are and what your match is, right? Instead of trying to optimize acceptance of a maximum amount of women, there might be value in just being like, hey, this is who I am, and this is what I'm looking for in terms of a match with a woman as a romantic partner. But your masculinity, the sole purpose is not just for attracting women. Like that's just part of you. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm practicing trying to summarize my thoughts because I feel like I have a lot of them, but I think my basic question still stands, is what does male identity development look like outside of any reference to women? Like when you don't bring them into the equation at all, what does that start to look like? Who are you as a man? What descriptors come up to mind? If your goal is no longer trying to find the approval and acceptance of other women, who are you without that? People will approve and disapprove us across our lifetime for various reasons, in and out of the romantic sexual context. Like, life is so big, rich with experiences and rich with, opportunities for connection that are outside the romantic and the sexual, especially in a heterosexual way. So even though we face rejection and wins across all different domains of life, there's still a sense of I am, right?
So what is the I am when we're not thinking about getting the approval and acceptance of women? What does that start to look like?
So let's go back to his comment here. He says, modern men practice masculinity only in whatever ways women accept. When is psychosocial ideology going to catch up to reality? Right? So I would say when I read that comment, what it means to me is men have a certain way of being and acting, but because society demonizes those things, they say, okay, let me adapt. Men are natural hunters. If this is not working, I will do something else. Well, it don't need to be predicated on a woman. It could be predicated on a woman, but it could also be predicated on the consensus. Hey, are these the rules? Is this what we're doing or not? Hey, where are we going? All right, let's go. Boom. That's why you can say, okay, let's pull up to this spot. Now, I really don't want to go, but they're going. Hey, I'm going to find something on the menu. That's what a lot of men will say. Oh man, I'm just looking for something to eat. That's consensus. That's what everybody's doing. Let's do it. So when you're saying, hey, is this consensus in society? Hey, I don't necessarily agree with it, but if that's what they're saying, then let's do it. I'm with the pack. I'm with the guys. You think about it like a wolf pack. Hey, I'm following what the group does. What do we got going on? What do we got going on, fellas? In that sense, I would say, right? So, it's not necessarily about you, about what you got going on. Too many times, women try to insert themselves into the equation. You're just part of the equation. Well, just leave us completely devoid on it. No, it doesn't work like that. You're a part of life. Men take the totality of life and they try to organize, understand, and conquer all facets of life. And this does not mean that he's trying to conquer you. Oh, no, it's not that I'm going to conquer. That's not what that means. That just means I'm trying to come to romance and I'm trying to get it right. Boom, I check that off. Trying to come to my career and I'm trying to get it right. Boom, check that off. All of these things in society, they have a standard. They have a threshold. That's why when y'all talk about your standards and your thresholds, you're only talking to yourself. Because men say, okay, y'all be talking, y'all standards, it's just noise. This is the standard that actually works. This is the standard that's actually perfect. We're going to go along with that. That's why they don't approach you. That's why they don't be doing the things that you be asking them and demanding that they do, because that standard doesn't make sense versus the perfect standard. Oh, well, that's the patriarchy to you. But that's a standard that's been working and it's going to work from now until time ends, because that's how life works. But men will get around and they'll say, okay, in this facet of my life, my career, this is what society's saying I need to do, whether I believe it or whether I like it or not. I'm going to try to line up with that. Okay, romance, whether I believe it or not, I'm going to try to line up with that. Unless you start getting out of line, like most modern women do, and talking stupid. And then that's when a man says, I'm going to go my own way. And that's where you see men going their own way. Men staying single. Men not approaching. Men avoiding women. Men ignoring women at work. That's when you see that. Because society has gotten too far away from what a standard actually is and what it should look like and what's reasonable. And so men say, well, you know what? I'm not about to continue doing that. I'm going to go my own way. So the thing is, once again, it's not necessarily about you. You are a part of society. So you get looped in. Well, you need to focus on this. I am focused on it. Once again, I'm focused on everything that I need to be focused on. You just play a part of the equation. You are not the whole entire equation. That's how it works. I'm sorry. If you thought it was all about you, I'm sorry.